CEO Palexi, Mr. Nguyễn Hoành Tiến, Senior Vice President of Momo, and Mr. Bùi Huy Nam, CEO of VTV Cap. And I would like to also introduce our moderator, Mr. Sudarshan Saha, Managing Director of Essence MediaCom. Once again, please give a big round of applause to welcome our panelists and our moderator. Một lần nữa xin được mời các diễn giả cũng như là điều phối viên của chúng ta sẽ tiến về phía khu vực sân khấu. Để ngay sau đây chúng ta sẽ có phiên tọa đàm với chủ đề The Data Driven Marketing Strategy.
Check.
Over to you, Sudarshan.
Hi everyone, a lot of friends I can see here, as well as I have some friends online also logging in, so hello to everyone online and offline. Thanks to MMA, very successful event, extremely packed. I heard 3,000 people came today, so a very big audience. And all of you have stayed back for this session, so clap. Really appreciate your time. This is the last session, so we will also make it hopefully interesting discussion. The topic today is about data-driven marketing strategy, and I think we have 35 minutes to entertain you, and hopefully in this session you'll learn something new. And with my co-panelists, our intention is to share some examples and inspirations. Oh, sure. Which one is this one? Right. So our intention is to share some examples and inspiration for you to understand that starting on a journey for data-driven marketing strategy for many of you, belonging to the SME segment as well as other category marketers. It's not a difficult thing, and we will try to demonstrate that with simple examples with my expert co-panelist. Would you like to say something about your experience and why we are here and what we are going to talk about, starting with Chum?
Yes. Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. My name is Chum. I'm currently the marketing director of Ariston, an Italian brand in water heater. Currently, I've been with the consumers electronics industry for around 6 years. Before that, I also had quite a short time in FMCG, and also around 4 years with F&B retail. So those experiences kind of give me an interesting view on data because each of the industry having different touch points with our end users, and which create different kind of challenges around data collection and how we're leveraging on data. So hopefully in the session today, I think I might not be able to give advice, but from the stories and the same challenge sharing, we can discuss together on maybe some new tools or solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tien.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Tien. I'm the SVP of Marketing and Distribution, Marketing Service and Distribution in Momo. I've been in technology and data for probably like more than 25 years. And hopefully I can bring in some insights about and examples about how we bring together business and technology and data together.
Thank you for Sot, and thank you for everybody. My name is Nam. I'm the CEO of the VTV Cap. We are the PTP operator, but now we are moving to the digital. It means that for the VTV Cap strategy is a mobile first. So from the traditional TV, now we have a tool understanding more about for the user. It's based on the data. So we hope that we can moving forward with our OTT solution. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Thong. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Palexi. I have been working with AI, data, big data for the last 20 years. So my company is basically is a Google Analytics for a brick and mortar store. And we have transformed the CCTV security cameras in your existing, in your stores into a powerful business intelligence system to help retailer, avoid customer churn and make their customer happier. And hopefully I can share my experience when we are deploying our solution, and that will be helpful for all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, and as you can see, we are not a very gender diverse panel here, but in terms of experience, it is extremely diverse. Tony deals with audiovisual data, and he converts live audiovisual data recorded into analyzable data. And we have someone from VTV, and that should surprise you, first time representing someone from VTV on MMA. And VTV is revolutionizing the way consumers in Vietnam will consume content. Hitherto in the digital ecosystem, it has been dominated a bit by walled gardens, but things are going to change. So we'll talk about it more. Antien, of course, comes from a service I think 80% of you must be using. If you're not using, you'll be a foreigner or really not living in Vietnam.
Or I can help with the installation.
Oh, you can. Yeah, because I think M-Service is not just about the Momo part, but how from a B2B perspective, M-Service can use data to enable you on a data-driven journey is interesting. But I'll start first with Tram. Based on our experience and based on our connect in last couple of weeks, it's very interesting career she has had. She's worked in McDonald's, where it's a quick service QSR format, and now she works with Ariston. Very, very diverse use of consumer data point in enabling decision making. So we'd love to hear from you how, in your experience, being a marketer in McDonald's and being a marketer today in Ariston, how differently data is used by your team. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for the question. I think when talking about data, for a marketeer, we face many different kind of data every day. Digital gives us a bunch of data, which might be similar for any industry. But the core data that we would like to look at is the data related to the final route of the purchase journey. Is the first data, the first data that we collect from the users. We can look at a bunch of data at our ads, our marketing campaigns, but different industry might face different challenges in looking at the real first data that we can collect from the end users. So like Sud introduced, when I was with McDonald's, F&B retail, we have our own store. The consumers come to us. It's very easy that whatever marketing campaign we do, we know exactly whether it works or not. We see the view size. If we want to do a campaign to increase the view size, we can see it in day one after we run. Then when I was with Unilever for FMCG, it's a little bit harder because now we don't own the touch point. Consumers don't come directly to our store. But at least at that moment, at least before they make the decision of purchase, they interact directly with our product. Let's say you want to print QR code on the packaging, you want to print a message or attach a kind of gift on the packaging. That's something quite easy to manage. And now moving on consumers electronics, I also had a few years with Samsung and now with Ariston. So same thing is that most consumers, they don't interact with us at the point of purchase. Because when they go to the shop, they just look at the sample in the shops. They decide to purchase. Someone else deliver the box, the carton box to their house. If we print QR code, we print messages to get the information, to grab the data on those packagings, maybe it would not work. And we always have to depend on a third party, a middle layer to help us on collecting the data. So I think one thing most of the consumers electronics brand are doing now is that we try to keep the connections with our end users based on the warranty, which is a touch point after they purchase it home, is the real touch point that they use us. And this might be the story only true for Ariston, that now it also diversifies depending on the level of involvement of the consumers with your product. Let's say when I was with Samsung, the TV is right in front of you, right? When you open the box, you might interact with it every day. You can put sticker of, hey, register online warranty to get benefit. But for a water heater, imagining, how many of you know what brand of water heater you're using every day? It's hidden in your ceiling, right? So even if like we try to get directly in touch of our consumers, it's really hard. And then I'm also would like to speak maybe on behalf of some of my colleagues working in pharmacy, right? Now you talk about another layer of difficulty in collecting data, because let's say for consumers electronic, we can ask our distributors to help us collecting data, but for our pharmacy, can you ask the doctors to help you collecting data or something like that? So what I would like to say is that at different industry, we might face different kind of challenges in collecting and leveraging data. The crucial thing is maybe we try to look in opportunities in every activities that we do. What insight we can generate from the marketing campaigns, what insight we can generate from the sales volume that we have. I think those are the kind of diversified in kind of data that we can look at, not just the first data.
So since the marketer is there, instead of marketer asking agency tough question, I got the broadcaster in the room. so Annam, I mean, you have to satisfy both angles. I mean, advertisers looking for how to, how their ads work better, as well as your audience. I mean, how can you leverage data better to, engage them better? So yeah, some stories, some advice from you.
Thank you for the question. You can see that today, for the user, they spend the content is totally different than in the past. Because in the past, we just watching the TV, just only, it's a one way, it's not interaction. So now, even with the broadcaster or even with the advertiser also, we require to connect with the audience, with the people. So for the B2B cap, we have to try and to connect all of the data from the user. Like data-driven is very valuable insight to the viewer behavior. It's allowing us to customize how we deliver the content and for the advertiser also. For the data that we have both is the interaction data and the profile data. With the interaction data is most important in the aspect. It's meaning that who you are, what kind of content you usually watching, or you watch where you watch and when you watch. So based on that, we see that how to deliver the content and with the advertising also. It's to bring the user the best experience. And sometimes you can see that the product is made for you, it's not for everyone. Yeah.
Right. I mean, interestingly, there is a show on VTV Gap, and very coincidentally, you are also one of the sponsors. And I think when we were discussing about the mentor, I think you shared that there is the way you do marketing, on a different platform to drive audience in a different platform, it's really helped the advertiser. So would you like to talk about this journey better? Because often marketers, of course, they're looking for better returns for advertising, but often we're looking for great content where it creates the memorability and the stickiness and goes beyond just the awareness. So please share with the audience some.
I think it's maybe everybody in the Zoom haven't been watching with the new mentor. So it's a waste of us the moment right now. Since the beginning, we have just starting with just from the OTT platform and then television and based on the social just or the few of the thousand. And then after that, we bring together the data between the OTT and social together, and we see that if we push hold of the content and we looking forward from the customer for the interaction, and then maybe you can see that change a little bit in the so on so, because whole of the information like the behind the scene or can be so as some of story between the whole of the actor and the whole of the audience also. It's after that up to now we increase the 55% of the user in OTT platform. And 55%. And for the whole of the social life, it's a double than that. So this means that if you follow with the user, you can see that you can deliver whole of the content. It's maybe they can watching during of the live show, or maybe they can watching after that.
How many of you have watched Mentor? Oh, okay. So Ariston is working all of you. Okay. Shifting a little bit from television and advertising and consumer space to Tony, who runs Palaxy. Extremely different set of data, and as I was chatting with him outside in the room, I'm sure what he is going to share with you for a lot of you is new information, because you may not be operating in the retail space. So how did you come up with the idea first? And then I know you mentioned to me earlier about the deep learning part. How much time did it take for the deep learning to, generate very accurate data with accuracy to convert audiovisual into analyzable, data? So
Yeah, just so basically, I think I came up with the idea just after I had the painful shopping experience.
painful shopping.
Yeah, so that was my wedding anniversary. So I went out to find a gift for my wife, and I went to Takashimaya, and I went to the jewelry store first. I went to play safe, but then at that time the store was fully crowded, and the staff wasn't actually paying attention to me. So after 10 minutes, I left, and then I went to the other cosmetics store nearby, and I just asked the staff if they have the gift set that my wife liked. They said it's just right now. Desperately, I finally went to the accessory store and grabbed the wallet and rushed to the cashier for payment. I thought it just 1 or 2 minutes for payment. Turns out it took me like 20 minutes because someone in front of me, returning the item. And
I thought you were not using Momo, that's why it took time.
Maybe Momo did not exist at that time. Wow. Maybe. Yeah. So basically, when I came back, I came to the meeting with my wife late, and then of course she get mad at me, and basically I kept thinking about, okay, so why shopping experience has to be that kind of like frustrated, right? And when I try to be, for the management side, from the retailer side, then I just realized that, the retail owner, they don't know. The jewelry owner, they didn't know that at that day, they lost me as a customer, right? Because they have no idea what happened in their store, right? So, and then because I have working with AI and data for the last 20 years, so. I came up with that idea. Okay, how about we actually get all the data, existing data in store, right? Actually, there's a lot of data. There's the retail store they already have, like the security cameras, the POS system, the store layout, the roster scheduling, all those data. It's just they speak different languages, right? They don't connect to each other. So we develop an AI system so that it can actually take all the input data, existing data, and then paint a big picture of what happened, why it happened, and what will happen next for the retail manager to understand. Now, here's one example of, one of our clients is Gomo. I don't know if you know the Gomo, but they have 40 malls in Vietnam so far. They are under management of the Central Retail from Thailand. And so after they deploy our AI solutions, the management team realized that the traffic to the entrance doors and the traffic to the shop around the entrance door depends a lot on the location of the parking lots. Right? Right. And then after they realized that, they decided to rearrange the parking lot locations so that consumer can shorten their walking distance so that they can walk to other location inside the mall more conveniently. And after they did the change, guess what? The traffic to the door, all the entrance door become more even. But more importantly, the merchant, the shops, they reported the traffic to their store increased substantially. So by applying the AI, application, so Gomo was able to improve, optimize the shopping experience for consumer like us, and at the same time, they also help increase the sales revenue for their merchant.
Wow. So two things. One is firstly changing the parking lot and its implication on footfall is very similar to the location of the OTT app in connected TV and how much traffic you can drive. So I think the science is same. Second thing, actually the way you explain me, it reminded me when I was in college in 1998, I read a book called How We Buy. And that was the advent of modern trade back then, where scientists would physically place themselves in store for days and take diary notes to observe this. 1998 and 2023, and now, you have a technology which can help us do that. Technology can help us, I think, in the world of AI, not go to college also in future, for all you know, I don't know. But yeah, so coming to the next, the next example that you have, real-time personalization. So we understand that we can collect this data, analyze it, and then it can become a science and help us decide better, in terms of marketing decisions. But in real time, what can we do? Real-time personalization. Is there something which we can borrow from your science and your brain and apply across all categories?
Yeah. I think real-time marketing is a hot term, right? Everyone try to do that, but I try to bring a different perspective. It's all about how to help customer to be happier, right? When they go shopping, have a better experience, right? And because they care less about the how, they care about the what they receive. So, and Guardian is another client of ours. Guardian is the largest retailer in personal care and beauty in Vietnam. They have more than 100 stores nationwide. And after they deploy the AI solution, so the management teams realized that there were a lot of customers at the makeup area, the makeup category area, and they spend roughly about 3 minutes browsing product, exploring product, but just a few of them actually make a purchase. The rest left without any purchase. And it happened not only to 1 or 2 stores. It happened to a lot of stores continuously for a long time, right? So when they go deeper into the data and they realize that, it turns out that consumer, they are not confident to put on the makeup. They don't even know which product to purchase. And they also think if they purchase the product, how to use it. So, although uncertainty about the product, and now after Guardian get that insight, they immediately took actions. They decided to allocate more beauty consultant to the makeup area to guide and help consumer to make a purchase decisions. They also put more product sample, the makeup product sample, so that consumer can test the product, right? Because consumers spend 3 minutes in that area, right? Long enough. So they need another touch point. That's kind of like the strategy. And after they did that, guess what? The situation changed completely, and the conversion, the sale of the makeup increased substantially.
I think it's a beautiful example of how, in agency or marketing world, if we have an agile structure that can take care of, requests up and down, traffics up and down. And one of the best examples which comes to my mind is Changi Airport. Based on the traffic, they can change the gate of the aircraft and the walking time to the immigration counter, so that the consumer doesn't mind walking 5 minutes to the immigration counter, but in immigration counter there's no queue, so that inventory and logistics movement using the trained staff can really, help delight the consumer. I mean, yeah, great. Coming to Antien, M-Service, okay. So, how do you use data to help your merchants? I mean, do more business or better business? I mean,
Sure. I think that when we talk about data, I think that data and technology is only a tool to help everyone. So we start with the goal and work backward. The goal is to help the customer feel better, spend less. The goal is to help the merchants to get more money, right? Basically, more customers and more money. So the definition of the goal and the way that we work all the way back help us quite a bit, because lots of time when we start with kind of technology data, we start from the beginning, we try to collect data, and we never think about how we create value from that data. So we got to go from the goal backward. I think that's the first thing that we did. And basically, when we look at the merchants at this moment, I see that there's a big need of driving sales. So we are here talking about marketing, but then the connection between marketing and sales is becoming more and more important, especially in Vietnam at this moment. So how can we connect from marketing directly into sales and then bring the customer immediately back so that we can kind of connect to them and bring them back again is very important. We got merchants going back to, go to us and asked for how we can help them to bring more of our customers to them, because like, we have a large number of customers. And basically, if we can do so, then basically we can help them to create the business. We can create the value for the end users. So what we did, and basically we have a kind of a small shot of demos out there in our booth. It's like one example of how we did that for F&B merchants. The way that we look at it is how can we create the value and help? Yes, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But basically, how can we bring our customers to even very small F&B shops? And we think that if the technology is simple enough, that even like a small owner who is in charge of marketing and sales can do it. Probably everything, right? Operation, everything can do it. Then I think that like all the big brands and retailers out there can do it. So we try to tackle the problems from where it's most difficult. But at the same time, if we can do that, then we can enable everyone. Because a part of our philosophy is like everyone can, right? So everyone can pay. Actually, we have like everyone can donate a little bit of money. Everyone can do everything. Or basically, another brand that's kind of inspired us is Vietjet. It's like everyone can fly. Basically, we think that if we can make everyone and all the merchants can do something, then basically even the smallest one, then everyone can. So what we embarked for was helping to bring the users, Momo users, down to the F&B merchants. And the challenge is how to make it so simple that they don't even care about data or technology. So I think that's the challenge we have. We realize that there's something very important happening in the market at this moment. And there's a big wave coming at this moment. It's for the first time, the whole journey of the customer can be digitized. So before, the digitization is kind of happening online for the top of the funnel, right? And then suddenly something happens, the customer is kind of walking down to offline. And there's a break in there. And the volume in the offline right now is kind of 95% of the total retail volume. So basically, the value is happening in the offline. And if you are in the business right now, you see that like the margin is coming from offline as well. Online, cost is high, efficiency is low, people don't make purchasing decisions online. So lots of time is happening in the offline. But at offline, in the past, they open the pocket, even either they pull out kind of cash notes or a card, credit card, debit card. There's no trace of that, and there's nothing that kind of intervene into that. But suddenly, in the couple of years now, the user application and QRs got happening. And for the first time in the customer journey, they pull out an app in the whole process. So the digitization is kind of happening all along the way. But there's still like a missing part, which is on the merchant side. And that's why we work our partner iPOS, because iPOS digitizes the interface between the merchant and the user. And basically, for the first time, we can connect from the customer from online, engage with them, bring them to offline, insert into the transaction, bring them later on back to online with review, with CRM programs, and engage with them again. So when we talk about data, it's all about customer journey. So we need to digitize the customer journey and all the most important touch point within the customer journey. If you can capture that, then basically you have the chance to connect everything and create the value for the customer as well as the merchant. So that's exactly what we did. We looked at all the different touch points along the way, and we connected everything together. Another challenge we got was how to make it so simple for the merchant. So the owner, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, pull out their app. Actually, they do have an app right now. They look at the revenue of the last day, and they think about what they're going to do that day. And I think that's the moment that we would like to tap in, and how to help them at that moment to do something that is quite difficult even for marketers to do. Is like, okay, go ahead and do some kind of marketing programs. So I think that's the whole idea of it. And what we did was we were looking for a way to, at first, show the data in the form that motivate the merchant to do something. So the motivation needs to be right there. If they look at the numbers, their number, and they see that there's a lot of customers haven't returned for a while now, if they see that their revenue is going down in some places, so immediately at that moment they have the motivation to do something. So that's the first step. A second step is, okay, so how can we show them that they can do something immediately? And we are talking about targeting. Targeting is something very kind of strange for lots of the merchants. So we need to present the information in a way that is so simple for them that basically they can pick a group of customers immediately. So this is the group of customers that contribute to 15% of my revenue haven't returned for a while.
But they can activate the campaign like right there in the morning when they see it?
Yes.
Okay.
On the same app. So on the same app, they see that, and they see that there's a group of customers they can target immediately. They can click on that, create a program. Actually, creating different programs is very difficult. We use best practice that we work with the partners. We show them that, and they can pick immediately one and hit the button. The program launch on Momo. So basically, the merchant don't have to leave Momo. Can I have the slides now?
Yeah, but tell me something. I'm curious about this. Is it also possible for upstream marketers? I see some of the corporates here. Is it possible for them to target B2B merchants? So you have that proposition.
Sure, but I think our strength is more on helping the...
Understand, but as an option, it is still available. Scale maybe
sure.
sure. And what will be the penetration of this integration at POSM level in Vietnam? Just a rough number if you want to hazard a guess.
I think that totally the POS companies right now have about 200, have already digitized 200,000 merchants. And if you multiply that by 2-3 outlets on average, then the number is pretty large.
Right, so the next question quickly will go on is redemption, data targeting, all needs accuracy.
Sure.
So, and you believe M-Service has the AI and machine learning stuff, and that really enables accuracy, and that you wanted to explain with this chart to the audience.
Definitely, accuracy is important, especially for financial services. So, so it's not only accuracy; it's about KYC, know your customers, and validating everything, avoiding fraud. I think a fraud is a big issue when you go from online to offline. You cannot control who's buying, how many kind of vouchers they get, and things like that. So what I have in here is I have a screen where and this is exactly the screen that the merchant is kind of looking at. They see, so after the part, they see that, okay, so basically here I have customers, I have command rating, everything. And then basically they see the segments of the customers. They select a segment of the customers. They push a button, then they can create different kind of programs, targeting different purposes. And for each one of them, they have like only 1 or 2 choices. Hit the button, that's all. So everything from that point on will go to Momo. This is done on our partner's app, iPost. It's the app that the merchant is using to manage their business every day. So basically, we connect the motivation to the trigger, to the targeting, to the trigger, and the action, all in one, in very simple steps. Next is, I have another one, right? Okay, so for the users, they can discover the voucher in this case, and they have many ways to engage with that. After a while, we realized that there are multiple ways to engage with the customers. Sometimes it's coming not only from like a discount. Sometimes it's having fun, right? So gamification is definitely like one way of kind of engaging with the customer. Give them a good return of fun rather than a good return of money. And donation is another thing that we do. So quite a few different ways that we can engage with the customers, not only purely from kind of financial point of view, but then the customers can go to multiple touch points on Momo. They can get the promotion, they can apply the promotion, select the location, they go down to offline. And the application is so easy because basically it's integrated into the payment already. So basically, for the users, it's seamless. Once that they got the transaction in the offline, immediately we suggest them to go for review. They have the offer from the merchant. And they can go online again to the merchant's page. And from there, the whole loop can just go again. So basically, we hide all the complexity of AI, data, everything underneath. We make it very simple. We allow the customers to, either our consumers or our merchants, to stay where they feel most comfortable. We play into their motivation. We create the motivation that immediately we have the call to action in there, and we lead them from online to offline. So we launched the pilot. We got only 22 outlets joined us. And within 2 weeks, their revenue increased 10%. And the customers, and not only that, search result for them increased a lot. So they got a lot of search, especially search for the location. So it's like Google Map location search is becoming very popular. And actually for some of the brands where they put the QR code for our programs at the door, then they drove up their revenue even like 30% on the absolute number. So basically, later on, they saw that some part of that, more the customers turned to Momo, use Momo more than other payment methods. But the net increase was even like 30%, 2 weeks.
I'm very curious that if the data is being read like this, and I'm sure the industry knows about these improvements and the returns acceleration, why will a large retailer in Vietnam not try to develop this on their own? If you say 2 weeks, 10% improvement,
yes.
I'm thinking why, let's say, I'm just guessing, Winmart or someone, why will they not develop 10% 2 weeks return? A lot of people will get promotions.
Sure. So when I was in retail, I started with data collection, analyzing everything, targeting. And suddenly, I don't have the way to engage with the customer. So the cost of engaging with the customer was so high that basically, and I couldn't target. I couldn't target the right customer, because I got to take them and throw to Facebook, and they mix it up and with all the algorithm, everything, and then I got something that I cannot track. The problem is this connection is happening right there. And that's why we need a platform with high customer engagement, with ability to track everything, and then bring the customer to offline, and make the whole journey very smooth, that basically the customer just doesn't know it, so that we have high redemption rate. And I think the whole trick of doing that is we need to have a very engaging platform with the ability to connect it from online to offline. And I think that's what Momo brings.
Right. Before I move to Tram with my next question, I would like to ask the audience something. How many of you have, when you install a water heater in your apartment or house, how many of you made the decision of which brand to choose? Can you raise your hand if you decided on your own? One. Okay.
My wife did.
Two. Okay.
Doesn't count.
Yeah. I mean, all of us here are marketers, and it's a very, very interesting thing. And thanks to MMA, I got to meet her, and I realized that, while discussing with her, lot of decisions in this category, the decision to choose which brand is done by a different kind of influencer. Can you guess? Tram?
Thank you, Sid, for the question. Before answering to your question, I would like to thank you, An Ting, for very interesting story sharing. I think all the marketeer, the story that An Ting shared, the journey would be a dream. Yes, because we can control, we can really connect everything. And as I shared in the beginning, some industry we might not be able to really do that. And that's why for Ariston, as I shared in the beginning, that we have a lot of challenges to really know our final purchaser. What we try to do is we try to look into insight data in many different forms. We look very seriously in the data of any digital campaigns that we do. Also in terms of the predictions of the market size, we also take the data of like number of households and forecasting. Okay, so estimate how many people, water heater per room per house, something like that, to somehow creating our estimation of the market and the data we can have. So in the journey of doing that, for campaigns that we do for B2B, usually before Ariston focus more in the B2C part. This might be something interesting to everyone, but actually our business model is still stronger on B2C. For B2B, we didn't really invest in the brand building and marketing communications, but only this year we start to think that, okay, we have to talk to our B2B partner a different way. We cannot show them a Facebook ad talking about features and asking them to purchase thousands of pieces for their buildings. So, and you know that when we go on digital and we try to target B2B people, it's quite hard. For digital, we target by what? Age, gender, location, interest. How can we look at those criteria to define that they are the right B2B partners for us? So of course, we try to narrow down some of the zones. We leverage the phone numbers of our sales team to do look-alike, quite many things. And then it's the first time that we try to collect leads. So when we put up the lead form, we allow consumers to define themselves whether they are the B2B consumers, and whether I'm going to purchase products for constructions, or I will purchase product for myself. So in Vietnamese, we say khách hàng dự án or khách hàng cá nhân. And interestingly, after months running the campaigns, all the data we collected listed khách hàng cá nhân, individual consumers. And we say, oh, it's fail, really fail, because we invest a lot in collecting leads to help our team building B2B, but now we collect a bunch of data as it's all B2C. Now what can we do? We still decide to share those data with sales team. And we say, okay, so we try to collect more, help in some input, but now this is all we have, but maybe we still suggest to make a call, to follow up and to see, okay, what is their insight. Interestingly, majority of those data, they are the installers. And they are not buying for themselves. They buy a few pieces and install somewhere else. But they do not define themselves as B2B. They are our potential for B2B, but they don't define themselves. So it means that when we try to collect the data and look at it, reading it in a different way, we might get some surprises, and it allows us to change our approach. Now we have a different group of target audience, right? We always know that, okay, the installers are there as a part of the picture, but we realize that actually they don't define themselves as the B2B. So if we keep looking for B2B, we might never serve the ad to the right people as the installers. Yeah.
This is one of the most amazing, data-oriented discoveries that I've seen in last few years that I've worked in this field. And I mean, continuing with you, Tram. I mean, we will take another 5-7 minutes, Jessica. So yeah, the last part I just want to ask everyone on the the future, and I think Tram has a very interesting interesting learning from social media advertising, which helped her decide portfolio mix for future from a product perspective. So Tram.
Yeah, I think it's the follow-up of what of the story about leveraging digital data in the context that we don't really know the first data, right? So we run the digital media for all different categories. So we say water heater, but in Ariston we have 4 different categories of the water heater. We have instant water heater, storage water heater, solar water heater, and heat pump. So each of the category have a different size of the contribution to the business. So the key one is always the storage, the one that, bunky one you install 30 years ago at your place. The next one is the instant water heater, and also another quite popular one. Then solar water heater and heat pump. So when we do the advertising, to us, the business size of solar is quite small compared to the storage and the instant. And that's also our assumption that, okay, solar, green solution is something as a new trend. And we always see that the potential, the size of the contribution is quite humble compared to the other categories. But when we invest in digital marketing equally for all the kind of ads we do, and we look back in the interactions and the clicks that we collect, there's a huge engagement. And whenever we post a content about solar water heater, huge engagement rate high, many clicks. So it proved to us that actually, I think we are not there yet in the expectation that we set for this category. So we should catch up with that. Maybe, I'm not saying that, okay, that's the goal of marketing and sales team might be ready yet, or distribution might be ready yet, or even product ready yet. But at least at the marketeer, using those kind of digital data and sharing back, here we are talking about is not investing in another market research to tell the story, right? We are just leveraging on the investment on digital media, but we can use that as an insight, such as any other research that we can do. We know that, okay, so this is the trend, this is the potential that we should tap on. And we consider that as something that we should keep on doing. And that's what we usually do with our digital media agency, that whenever they share back data with us, well, don't just tell us, okay, so this campaign we achieved 150% or we only 90%. The key question is why, even if it's 20% over the KPI, why, and what insight it can bring based on those kind of data to give us the insight to move on and take the different actions.
Thank you. Try us. No.
Okay. Is this the reason why you bring me here?
No, Jessica brought us together, not me. But yeah, Tony, 20 years, 25 plus years in this field, you've seen challenges in implementing tech-based marketing solutions. Learnings, any thoughts for takeaways besides the wine glass for the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in order to execute any tech-driven marketing strategy or any tech-driven strategy successfully, I think we're gonna need 3 things. A good platform, of course, but also good people and good process. So I think a common mistake that I see that people overrate the tech platform component and overlook the other 2 components, the people and the process component, right? Because they consider a shiny tech platform as a magical bullet, right? But in reality, it is not, right? I used to be one of those. So I just after so many try and error, and then I realized that actually it's not gonna work. And also the process and the people component, right? Let me tell basically a story about on our client. Basically, they have about 200 store locations, and so the executive so strongly believe in the value that our products deliver. However, the users, the end users, which is the store manager and the area managers, they needed more convincing. So they started deploying a small group of stores, 30 stores, right? And they held a mini tournament for those stores and to find which one got the best conversion, got the best performance, and they offer some, attractive rewards. So it's just like some kind of, gamifications, right? And the result was outstanding. The store was so competitive, and they, with our solution, they try everything to improve their conversion, their performance. They even send out their employee to the front door and get more people in their store.
Do you mean team spirit is an enabler for adopting new innovation tech?
Well, it's a people component, right? It's a people component. Yeah. So, and then combined with the high conversion from our solution, so the sale revenue of those 30 stores basically soar, right? So the area manager took notice. Other store manager took notice. And all of them wanted to adopt our solution, all because the initial 30 store, were leading by a fine example, right? So when it comes to, people, right? I think what I learned is that use incentive wisely to motivate people to adopt a new strategy, a new tool, new solution, new process, right? And also show result, not tell. And when it comes to process, we should basically keep it simple, keep it easy. Less is more, because what you leave out is as important as what you put in.
Wow. I'll come to Annam. Future advertising opportunities, Vietnam going to reshape. And you want to give a trailer about what's coming up, what the audience can look forward to?
I think I just mentioned about in the media, in the television only. You can see that in the near future, it's TV and OTT each together, where the content provider and the advertiser could connect with the audience via one of the latest technology like the data analytics, the AI recommendation. It can understanding very well the customer and bring to them the value and bring to them the better experience. And I hope more on that, it means that we could connect whole of the provider. You can see that right now, separate provider and each provider wants them the data, but could not connect together. If we could connect together, it will bring more and more value to the content provider and the user and the advertiser also. Because the huge value of the data, and you get more on the accuracy. You understanding very well, and you bring the better value. And for BTP Cap, I teach that we launching the new application with the latest technology and exclusive content in the October, and we can get back to you soon. Thank you.
Something exciting, something new. Vietnam is never a boring place. Antyan, last question to you is basically, do you see M-Service going to solve only B2C problems in future, which they do now? For your merchants, you create great solution for their business improvement. How will you help large brands or large retail networks or large advertisers who have always struggled influencing the person in between the end consumer and themselves? And that's why you are in a very nice, poised space where using data, you can really create a solution which does not exist today. for future thoughts, or you may open a new company for that?
So the way that we look at it is, so we tried to leverage or tap into some of the motivations of human. And a part of that is money, right? But then I think that like giving discount is not something kind of sustainable in the long run. So we are experimenting with something else. For the games, yes, it's like probably like you all know that Momo has done like lots of games. Something that we did recently with a big chain, like retail chain, is to do something else. This is about social costs. So what we did was we were working with Katinat, and for every single transaction that the customer buy in Katinat will donate like 1,000 Vietnamese dong, which is tiny, to build like 2 different schools in different kind of locations within Vietnam. What we do is we track everything. So immediately after the customer make the purchase, immediately they get the information that, okay, so I contribute into this. And we just broke the ground for the very first school already. Revenue of Katinat went up during that period. It was like more than 10%. I don't have exact number for that. I can observe it from the number from Momo, but revenue going up. Spending is so small. So basically for every transaction that they got there, it's only like 1,000 dong. And besides that, they didn't have to put aside like a big marketing budget. They just take it from every single transaction that they have. The brand was uplifted, definitely. We got like a lot of kind of PR articles about that, so they got their own media for that. And I think it's, at the end of the day, everyone is happy because basically the customers can make a difference with their purchase. The merchant right now, and in this case, it's like a big chain, get more traffic. People are switching because of something very simple and very small amount of money. And finally, like together we can create the impact for children in the rural areas. So what we see is we not necessarily play and try to leverage a single way of interaction with the consumer. We can help them to spread lots more things. So it can be fun, it can be meaning, kind of the meanings and of course money. But along the way, if we can do something like this, then we can help. And actually, I think that this is something that works very well for bigger brands, bigger chains with many locations. And that's the way that we want to go. So we don't want only to make money. We want to do something else. We want to create a better society, a better environment for everyone. And I think that that's, at the end of the day, is our impact to the country, rather than just try to go out and do a clever marketing thing.
But you did a clever thing. You dodged my question and talked about purpose. but thankfully, you talked about sustainability, and I really want to thank MMA because the machine that you put, which absorbs all the plastic waste, is a beautiful initiative which should be adopted, and it's a great device which, if it is enabled, also helps us collect the data of what kind of brand, what kind of bottle you've used, etc., etc., etc. So I think it's a great tool, and and thank you for staying back for us, if not for the drinks. So thanks MMA. Yeah.
I'm sure it's not only for the drink. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Sudashan and all the panelists for giving us a lot of useful information. And we'd like to invite you to remain on stage to receive the token of appreciation from MMA. Thank you. Once again, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for your very valuable insights that you brought today. Thank you.